Hey, thanks for joining us. This is Decaf with the Beacon Center of Tennessee. I'm Taylor. This is Mark. We are back for another week. I think last week's podcast might have been one that got more attention. I'd like to thank everyone who offered to help me date and give me a lot of unsolicited tips.
But you need all the tips. You need every single tip
all the
about
help
dating.
that I can get.
Yeah.
We're over here this week. You'll notice we're not in our office, and that is where we will start. If you want to start the clock on topic one.
Our office is right there, though.
Yes.
They can't see, but
no,
okay.
You can't see.
Okay, ready? Go.
So we're starting the clock for topic one. Our office is right across the street, and today we are at the Dream Hotel. Where they just built this hotel a couple months ago, and I think it was like
a year or a year and a half.
Okay, well it feels like it's just recently, but I've become obsessed with the coffee shop over here, and it's not the only part of the hotel I'm obsessed with. They've got bars, restaurants, the rooms are beautiful, everything is great, and it's just right across the street from us, which is
incredible.
I mean,
they literally have 47 bars. I mean, I'm using literally wrong when I say that, but
4. But
yeah, no, I think there's like 6.
Well, there's a hidden bar downstairs. Then there's this coffee shop, and there's a restaurant right across from us, another bar right across from us on the main floor. And it's really cool because everyone talks about how Nashville is becoming a much cooler city. But this hotel, there's one here and there's one in New York.
Okay, I didn't know there was one in New York.
Yeah, there's 2 of them. And the Chainsmokers played at their opening weekend. And
well, that sounds lame.
I thought it sounded pretty cool. But it just goes to show that Nashville really is growing and doing great things and bringing really cool businesses here.
They are, and I think one of the cool things is me and you had to walk around here before, and all their bars and coffee shops are very distinct from each other. That's what I love. Yeah, because they put it's like, oh, you have 3 bars in the hotel. It's like, well, they all look exactly the same. Who cares? They're just on different floors.
Right.
Like here, they literally have these 4 right around us, and every single one has this different feel to it, which I think is cool.
Yes, I really like this coffee shop is very clean, sharp edges, very minimalist, but you go into the restaurant and it's it looks like a New York kind of kitchen restaurant with a big skylight. You go across there and it's almost like a Mad Men kind of loungy theme. They've got the secret bar down in the alley. I mean, if you're ever in downtown Nashville, and we're surrounded by really cool places, really cool.
A million coffee shops.
Coffee shops.
When I started here 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And there must have been maybe 2 coffee shops within walking distance. There was Dunn's and then like Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, there has to be 15 now, right?
So I moved here a year ago, and right before I moved here, Mark sent me a text and said, the day you start work, I just found the most amazing coffee place, and the day you start work, we are going to get coffee at this place. And it was something that I wasn't really used to either. Where I used to work, there was like maybe 1 or 2 places within walking distance.
But you were in Alabama, so everything's worse in Alabama.
Yeah, I was in Alabama.
Specifically the football.
Whatever, roll tide. But I've since moving to Nashville even, this place is open, a place right down the street is open. I mean, we're kind of in a really cool city and a really cool part of the city, and I just wish, we'll talk about this in a second, but I just wish that our elected officials would realize how cool this really is and that we don't need to pay people to come here.
That's right, yeah, people should want to come here. And again, like we have some of the coolest coffee shops in the country. Like when we talk about what's downtown, the restaurants, maybe not as good as some other parts of the city, but the downtown coffee shops are incredible. And there's so many different ones.
So you should come to Dream, you should get the lavender vanilla latte.
Or my first decaf coffee. It's decaf, so I ordered decaf coffee.
Espresso.
Okay,
and that's right.
Nope, stop talking, go.
And so as we have talked about, as I just said, Nashville elected officials should not have to pay people to come here. And that's the second thing we want to talk about is we got word this week that Metro Nashville's debt has more than doubled the state of Tennessee's debt.
Yeah, $4.5 billion to $2 billion, I think is what it is.
It's a little bit ridiculous. And so we're in this situation now of all this growth is happening in Nashville and people are saying, oh, well, we're getting a soccer team and Amazon's coming and all these things, but at what cost?
I mean, all our money. That's literally like all our money plus $4.5 billion.
I mean, how embarrassing is it that our city, just the city of Nashville, has doubled the debt of the entire state of Tennessee?
And the problem is that our elected officials don't seem to understand that this is actually a problem. They're like, oh, no, we have money, it's growing and stuff. Well, you keep spending more than we're bringing in by a lot, so that doesn't work.
You can't treat tax money like a credit card and just say, oh, I'll pay it off later,
Do not tell the city government that.
Yes. Well, I will tell the city government, if you're listening, you're doing it wrong.
Very, very wrong.
You can't just treat our tax dollars like, and I know it is true that revenue will keep rolling in and keep rolling in.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't say, well, because within 10 years we'll pay off this present debt, we're just going to spend more money. Like, that's just not how it goes.
Do you think, and here's the issue that I think I have the biggest problem with, is that we're bringing in a lot of money right now. I think it's the most that the city has collected, and somehow we're still overspending. What happens when we have a rainy day? I mean, I'm not an economist, but they're talking about a potential recession maybe in the next couple of years.
It's all over Twitter.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's true. And I mean, I don't think anybody knows. But the thing is, at some point, it's going to slow down here.
Obviously.
And when the governments don't have enough discipline to be able to balance budget when we're bringing in tons and tons of money, how are they going to do it when we're not? Because then these programs are already there. Guess what? You can't tell Amazon, oh, by the way, give us this $50 million back.
No,
we need it back. We can't do that.
That's not
it's
how,
impossible.
Like,
it's
entitlement
illegal.
giving works. You can't just say give it back. And
wait, as a note, I like what you just said. We should call corporate welfare an entitlement program, because that's what it is. It really is. But it's entitlement for the rich, not for everybody.
I know.
You want to talk about entitlement?
It's kind of sickening. I mean, it's very sickening to think that there are people. I mean, there are children who need good education. There are teachers who need pay raises. We talk about this all the time.
180. I think we're 180 police officers short of what we need for the city. That's what they said. Yeah.
We need to be safe, but by all means, let's have a soccer team and a massive soccer stadium that no one needs.
First of all, soccer's stupid.
Agreed.
Secondly, this team is really stupid. No, well, I don't think that's relevant. But I mean, I hate soccer more than anybody. But I mean, I'll still fight against the football stadium. We should not be funding the Titan Stadium. The Predators, I don't know how we're giving them any money.
I don't get it.
They are making so much money hand over fist, and I think we negotiated the deal to make it a little better. But we should not be giving them 1 cent of our money.
I mean, I'm almost to the point where if you can't beat them, join them. So, hey, City of Nashville, if you want to bankroll my shopping problem, feel free.
Yep.
I'm in.
Or if you want to do a lot of jazz stuff around the city, I'll pay
I'm
for
into
it.
that.
Okay.
Okay. Next topic. While we're talking,
I'm doing well with this, by the way. I know.
Well.
I'm on top of it.
While we're on the topic of things that outrage us, Mark and I talk a lot about why people feel like if you don't agree with them on their political beliefs, then you hate them as a person. And just today, there was an article that came out. Megan Rapinoe, that's her name, right?
I don't know. It's either Rapinoe or Rapinoe, whatever.
She plays on the U.S. women's soccer team, and she's kind of a beast. I really think
she's the best player on the team.
One of the best athletes I've ever seen, period.
And it's cool hair.
And she has amazing hair. I mean, if Mark would let me have pink hair and still think I look
to be clear, I don't care. You do whatever you want. So we heard it here. She can have pink hair. So if she doesn't wear it, that's her fault.
Next week I'll have pink hair.
Perfect.
But she came out just recently and said that she doesn't understand how her parents can be huge fans of her and who she is, but still watch Fox News and still vote for Trump. And she thought that her parents would have progressed by now.
But in fairness to the story, I don't think you're telling the whole story, is that she also still loves them and still talks to them.
Yes.
And she made these comments about that. But even despite, she is the most anti-Trump person maybe in the country right now. And it sounds like her parents are very Republican conservative and voted for Trump. And she doesn't understand why they are the way they are.
But she still talks to them.
And they're still very, very close.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I know you made it sound bad though.
Well,
I don't know if you.
And I will say, reading at the beginning of the article, I'm like, why is this woman saying that just because her parents don't agree with her on her political beliefs that they need to go to therapy? That really was upsetting to me.
Yeah.
But to her credit, she does say, I love my parents, I care about them, I disagree with what they say, but my parents and I have a very close relationship, and I think that we can do that. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as, my mom and I agree on a lot of things, but we don't agree on everything. She hates the majority of the things that I wear, I think. But,
and people you date, but she's probably right about that.
Back to my dating life. But even though we disagree on a lot of things, we're really close and we talk every single day. But I still wouldn't say you need to go to therapy because you disagree with me. I think that's a little strong.
In fairness, I think it was taken out of context. I think it was kind of a joke. I mean, because we didn't hear what was behind it.
I mean, I really like her, so I hope that was a joke.
Well, yeah, I'm not a big fan of her personally. But the thing is, if you look at what she said in the rest of the thing, it seemed like she was kidding. I mean, she's like, look, I still love them. I still respect them. I just don't understand. And that's part of what we need to get as a country. It's like, I don't understand why people vote the way they do or why socialism is apparently popular now. I don't understand that at all. But it doesn't mean I don't respect those people. It's like I can say I don't understand where you're coming from. I'll argue about it in a polite way, but I still like you personally. And I'm still willing to talk about it. I think the idea that, let's not talk about politics because it's going to make people mad, that's a function of people not being able to have a real conversation.
It's immature. I remember I was a junior in college interning in DC, and I said to someone like, oh yeah, I really only hang out with like people who agree with me on politics. And he said that's a really bad way to do things because you're never going to meet really interesting people and you're never going to learn how to talk to people and disagree with people. And so now, my friends are all over the political spectrum, and when we are talking about politics, we're able to be civil, and when we're not, it's okay too.
I would notice I have a lot more friends that are liberal than I realized after I posted my last Trump thing, and people were very...
Yeah, if you're curious where Mark's friends stand on the political spectrum,
very
check out
far
his
left,
Facebook
very
post.
far left.
Speaking of Facebook, so we're starting a new thing where we will kind of crowdsource some topics that we want to talk about in our last segment. This past week, the topic that we crowdsourced was... Okay, I'll say this. I'll start by saying this. I say a lot of things that Mark doesn't really understand. I'm obviously very Southern. He's obviously very not.
And
so I say a lot of things that he doesn't understand. And so when we crowdsourced on Facebook, what are people's favorite Southern idioms?
Southern idioms. She doesn't think I'll understand many. I don't understand some, but I think I might know more than you think.
I don't think you're going to get these.
So explain how the game's going to work.
Okay, so first of all, there were a few that I got via text message and via Facebook that we would need to do an unrated episode.
Oh, I like that, unrated.
To go over these. So I left those off.
That's in the special features DVD.
Yeah, we'll have to put those on the special features because there were some that made me blush a little bit. But
and I didn't see any of these before.
Mark did not see any of these, and so what I'm going to do is I picked my favorite 5, and I'm going to ask him what he thinks they mean. And these are idioms that I have said before that have been said to me, and I obviously grew up 28 years knowing what these mean. Mark is...
We'll see if I know what they mean, and you'll tell me if I'm right. You'll tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Okay.
After I laugh.
So let's start. What's the first one?
Number 1, referring to someone as being knee-high to a grasshopper. Surely you have heard this.
I have heard this. Knee-high to a grasshopper. Does that mean like very young or inexperienced or something? not that.
Think more of me and being very
short.
Knee-high
that makes
to
sense.
a grasshopper.
Well, I said young. That's kind of the same thing.
Okay.
Give me partial credit.
Okay, you get partial credit for that. 50%
okay.
on that one. Okay, this is my favorite one because I tend to say it a lot. Saying that your eyeballs are floating.
Does that mean you're really busy with work?
No, but that's a really good guess.
It's like so much stuff.
No, your eyeballs are floating.
You doing this doesn't help me. I don't know what that means still.
It means that you really need to go to the bathroom. You are running on a full tank.
That's super gross. Okay.
Well, I just thought it was really funny.
Well, that is funny. That's a grosser one than I expect.
Really
okay, so I'm 0 for 2.
0 for 2. Okay, so
what's number 3?
This is one that someone said to me when I was a kid. You could eat corn through a picket fence.
Eat corn through a picket fence. Does that mean that you'll get food no matter what? Like if there's food in sight, you'll get to it?
These are really good guesses.
Okay.
That's incorrect. These are really good guesses. No, it means that you desperately need braces.
Oh gosh. Okay, that one makes sense.
That one, I really like that one.
Okay, 30 seconds. Got 2 more.
This is one that Justin's wife Kara sent me. If I had my druthers.
Oh, I know what that one means. Like if I could do. If it was up to me.
Yes.
I do know that one.
If I had my druthers, I'd wear pajamas to work
that's
or
right,
drink beer in the early afternoon.
1 out of 4.
Okay, 1 for 4. Okay, so this last one, that dog won't hunt.
Oh, I think I know what that means. Does that mean like even though they're supposed to be able to do something, they're not very good at that, or that's
like,
not in their wheelhouse?
Or it's just isn't like it. It was close.
I think not in their wheelhouse.
Like kind of
2.5 out of 5.
2.5 out of 5.
That's 50%.
Right, we'll be generous on his score. There were a lot more on our Facebook. If you want to see,
I feel like if people like this, we should make this a daily segment because I feel like there's so many Southern idioms.
There are so many Southern idioms, but there's a lot of other things that we want to talk about. But there are things that you want to hear us talk about. I get texts every single week saying, "Why don't you talk about this?"
Just about anything.
Oh my gosh, I'm very popular, Mark, please.
In your own mind, you are super popular.
Anyway, but we really do want to hear from you guys. This segment came out of crowdsourcing and hearing what people wanted to hear, as did the dating segment last week. And so we're starting to grow and we're starting to hear more from you guys, and we want to know what you want to hear us talk about politically and culturally.
Yeah, I think like if you have questions, you put it on our Facebook. We're actually put an email address out soon. We're like, if you have a question you want to hear us talk about, say you may be embarrassed to talk, I don't know what this thing is in politics, or even if you're like, I didn't understand what you were talking about last week, please explain it better. Or
we're
like,
down.
why do you like Nickelback so much? We'll talk about whatever. That people say that.
No one's gonna.
People want to hear about Nickelback a lot. You'd be shocked. And by people, I mean me.
Well, Justin's going to host with me coming soon, and we're going to talk about good music. So everybody can get excited for that, and I'll share my Spotify playlist.
I feel like Justin's been really hammered though, because a lot of our overcaffeinated guests have liked Nickelback, and it's really, really hurt him a lot.
This is not
Nickelback for life.
This is upsetting. All right. Thank you for listening. Please ignore everything Mark has to say.
As
Talk
usual.
to us on Facebook, and we'll see you next week.
Okay.